Welcome back to Guns Gear Network, everyone. Appreciate you tuning in. This video is a little, if you notice, a lot of my videos are not real political, but some obviously significant things have recently happened in U.S. politics with the election of Donald Trump. And first and foremost, I want to congratulate Donald Trump and Mike Pence on their victory, and I think it is a great move forward in our nation with what we did with this election, not only with the presidential election, but on a lot of the national and state and local elections. The conservative movement voice has been heard loud and clear by the people and the people in Washington. So with that said, I'm going to give you a little bit of a history lesson. I knew the title would be a little controversial, and so the part of this is going to be, a lot of people now are thinking, okay, well, now there's no going there, the magazine prices are going down, the rifle, AR-15 prices are going down, we don't have to worry anymore. Far from the truth. And if you are not constantly vigilant in your thinking when it comes to the Second Amendment and prepping and your freedoms and things, you're going to get caught again behind the eight ball. And let me give you this example. When I did my title that I hope Trump is no Ronald Reagan, I meant that, because a lot of people in conservative circles like touting that Reagan was the great conservative that he was. In reality, he was very much I think he had some conservative views, don't get me wrong, but he was very much a traitor to the Second Amendment. So you can, even with what you consider a conservative in office, things don't always go your way. So I'm going to give some people a history lesson that may not be aware of kind of this whole thing. The National Firearms Act, which regulated machine guns, suppressors, all those things, were done years ago and way before Reagan. However, in 1986, Congress passed the Firearms Protection Act, which sounds great. It sounds like you're protecting firearms. However, there was a thing in that called the Hughes Amendment. And what happened was, prior to 1986, manufacturers and importers could still bring in Class 3 weapons. In other words, Colt could still manufacture, dealers could sell Colt not AR-15s, but M16A1 type rifles, that sort of thing. If anybody else wanted to bring in and import AK-47s, they could. Back in 1986, you're probably looking at a M16A1 rifle, probably around $1,200–1,300. AK, $700–800. You could buy what's called a lightning link or a drop-in auto sear, which was basically a little piece of metal designed a certain way, could drop right into certain AR style rifles, and turn them into fully automatic, and you could legally buy those. And they still had to be registered because they considered that piece the machine gun. You had to buy them for, they were probably a couple $100 max, probably even less than that. They used to sell them all the time through Shotgun News magazine. Well, in 1986, when this amendment took place in this the Firearms Protection Act of 1986, Reagan signed it into law. What it did essentially is cut off all manufacturing and importation of Class 3 weapons that could be sold to the public. Law enforcement, military could all buy them, but it cut off everybody. Any gun prior to 1986 is what's called pre-ban, and they are allowed to be bought, sold, and transferred within what's left in the inventory. Roughly at any given time, depends on, things break, you can't fix them, whatever. Right now, there's probably a little over 500,000 machine guns, Class 3 type weapons in civilian hands for the most part in the United States that are manufactured prior to 1986. Well, the problem is when that law came into effect, you now took a $1,200 rifle and turned it into a $20,000 rifle. So go on the internet and look around and just see what an MP5 machine gun that's transferable costs you, or an M16A2 or any of that. You'll notice that they've taken that away from the common man. It's just out of reach for most people. So barring just some really, rich enthusiast for the class 3 weapons, then this common man cannot own them. So we can argue back and forth the usage of a machine gun or not and all that stuff, not getting into that. My point is, to this video, is I know a lot of people now are having a sigh of relief, and I did the same thing. However, I've been down this road before. Let's look at 1994, okay, when the assault weapons ban actually was implemented by Bill Clinton. One of the key figures in that getting passed was Ronald Reagan again, believe it or not. Ronald Reagan supported the assault weapons ban, even though he was out of office, and he sent a guy by the name of Scott Klug, which was one of the holdouts, to sign this thing, to make it pass. He actually sent him a letter, a handwritten letter, encouraging him to actually do it. Of course, we know what happened. The assault weapons ban passed in 1994 under Bill Clinton. So that's my point. Just because we've elected somebody that we feel like is looking after our Second Amendment rights and all these other things that we believe in, doesn't mean we can just relax and just not. We have to hold their feet to the fire, make sure they're doing what they're doing. We still have to support our gun organizations, all that. And also we have to keep prepping. Just because there's other things that can happen. There's a lot of bad people in this world. Of course, you got ISIS, things like that. We've had some terrorist attacks, obviously, in the United States that can cause problems. Natural disasters, man-made disasters. Here recently, we've had 2 gas shortages in my area because of 2 busted pipelines. One was the explosion pipeline. So any of those things can happen. So just because Donald Trump's elected and we've got, a lot of good people in the Senate and the Congress and all that, in both chambers of the House, does not mean that you stop what you're doing and forget about it and think life's just perfect, I don't have to worry about it, because things still happen, emergencies, whatever. Now, are we a lot better shape than we were in a lot of places? Yes. But that does not mean that you stop what you're doing. Doesn't mean you stop learning your skills. Just because Donald Trump is elected doesn't mean the bad guys are going to go away. Matter of fact, if you look, they're already starting to do some quote-unquote protesting, maybe not as full-out riots, but they're already protesting, things like that. We're still in the midst of it, okay? So just my point to this is, and I don't want to drag it out too long with you guys, but I just want to have a heart-to-heart with you. And number one, congratulate Donald Trump, Mike Pence on a great job. I have great hopes that they're going to do very well for our country, and we're going to be able to move in a good direction over the next 4 years. So that's the first part. Second part is, like I said, don't give up as far as on your fight, because you always have to fight. You have to remind these people that what we stand for, and if we put them in office, they better do it. And on the other side of that, there's still bad guys out there. There's still natural disasters. There's still things that can happen that you still need to prep and learn how to overcome with skill and proper planning and things like that. So anyway, guys, I appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate the support of the channel. I look forward to this year. I think it's going to be 2017 is going to be a great year with Trump coming into office. I'm hoping that the reason I have a box of 22 ammo here was just a kind of because the 22 ammo is so hard to find, and the reason is everybody's been panic buying for 4 to 7, 8 years, and so you can't even go to Walmart and buy ammunition. So I'm hoping this will actually change a little bit of that, to where I can go down to my local Walmart and buy a box of ammo of about any caliber, and especially even 22s, so I can take my kid to go shoot or whatever. I remember when these were just common, always on the shelf, and they always ran sales. It didn't happen all the time, but they had, let's say that box was $18, they'd run them for, $15.99 or something on sale. So I'm hoping we get back to that. And I think we're definitely heading in that direction. You're also probably going to start seeing gun prices level out because right now everybody was, at one time everybody was buying anything and everything. They didn't care who made it, what caliber. They were just buying it because it was a gun and it went bang. Well, that's going to start changing a little bit now. Some of that worry is going to be over. So what you're going to start seeing in that transition is that you're going to start seeing prices get a little more competitive. You're going to start seeing a lot more sales going on. You know, there's going to be a little glut of inventory with some of these manufacturers, and you're also going to see some people now that think, oh, okay, it's over. Then they're going to, you know, need that money later to be able to buy something else, maybe a Christmas gift or something. They're going to start unloading some of these guns and ammo they've been holding on to. So it's going to be good for the gun community, I think, in a lot of ways. But again, you still have to stay vigilant. Guys, I appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate the support of the channel. As always, like, share, and subscribe. And we'll be bringing you another video shortly. Have a great day, guys.